Candace Owens had her YouTube channel demonetized and caught a community, I want to say a community guideline strike for her Ye interview. The same interview that Daily Wire wouldn't allow her to release because she, because for obvious reasons, because Daily Wire clearly knows the community guidelines. So let me just say this. This approach, she says, thus far I have 0 strikes on my YouTube channel account. I now have been inundated with 3 back-to-back content hits within minutes, plus an email that I'm now fully demonetized. We all know who is behind this and why. So, okay, listen, I don't like the we all know who this is, because this is why she got these strikes, these community guidelines, right? Because you know who she's talking about. Go to the email, and let me explain these to you. What I was dealing with a couple weeks ago are copyright strikes. Copyright strikes is when someone claims that you're using their content in the fair use system. She is dealing with community guidelines strikes in the YouTube Partner Program. This is how you carry yourself, what things you do or don't say. Okay. Examples of this include the community guidelines violations outlined above, along with our ad-friendly guidelines, which state that content incites hatred against, promotes indiscrimination, disparages, or humiliates an individual group of people that is not suitable for advertising. What does that mean? That means that she had a conversation with Ye, and in that conversation, he basically alluded that the Jays run the banks and run the world. That is textbook anti-dash. I just said. I guess I just said. I am not rejoicing over this. I don't think this is good.
Yeah.
She's not. By the way, she's not deplatformed. They didn't deplatform her. They demonetized her.
Yeah.
That is different.
True.
YouTube has community guidelines. As a creator, we are to color within those community guidelines. I think the part that's whack here is the suspension. I think they could have. I think this stuff should live on YouTube. Let Kanye rock out about his views about the Jays. Let Candace Owens rock out about her views on the Jays. If YouTube as a platform wants to demonetize them,
yeah,
fine.
That's all I'm in.
But the community guideline and 1 week suspension, I don't think is necessary. I think it's like you've already absorbed her means to earn money off of AdSense, and then to give her a strike on top of that, or a 1 week suspension, I don't think is.
I do think those things happen at the same time, though. I think if you get a demonetization situation, you get banned for like a week. Like, I think that's how it works. I think those two things happen at the same time. It's like, it's like timeout, you know? Yeah. But you're also facing a wall.
Yeah, let's see if she says anything else about this. We covered her entire backstory extensively in my reaction. What do you meme? So yeah, that is what it is. She's talking about it. Here's a YouTube censored interview with Ye. So she posted it. So yeah, I mean, you can't jump out the window and say certain things and think that there's not going to be consequences to them. Whether that's lizard people run the world, whether it's the Jays are the lizard people that run the world, whether that's so on and so forth. There is consequences. Saying hateful things is not the same as persecution, right? Like saying hateful things about a specific demographic of people is not persecution. Now, I will say, I find it very odd that she was saying all kinds of wild stuff about black people and no one gave a crap.
Yeah.
But the moment she starts talking about the Jays, all of a sudden, it's an issue. Do you know what I mean? That I do find that kind of a double standard, because she said a lot of wild stuff about black folks over the years, hyper generalizing black communities and black culture as if black people are a monolith, instead of being very specific. See, the issue isn't that there are Jays that have questionable business ethics and business practice, or there are Jays that work in industries that are completely deplorable. Those things exist, just like there are white dudes in biker gangs that commit violent crimes, just like there are black folks in parts of the country that commit gun violence. All of these things exist. The issue is when you take one part, one segment of a community, you take that out and then you hyper generalize and you say, all black people want to worship George Floyd as a martyr.
Yeah, it's crazy.
What are you talking about? Like, are there folks on the fringes of the left that are doing that like buy into that narrative and saw him as a martyr? Sure. But all black culture, you know what I mean?
I have a question.
Jewish culture, like that's the psychological error that people make with conspiracy theories and hyper generalizations. That's where she's wrong.
I have a question.
Yes.
So what are you saying? You find it interesting that it wasn't an issue until she started coming at the pews? the Jays.
Why do I what?
Find it interesting that like she went after black folks, but then
no one had an issue.
No
with
one had
it.
an issue.
No one had an issue.
People
with
had an issue with it when they went to the Jays. CP says it kind of proves her point in a way.
And she did say that. She said she was being encouraged at the time. Guess who she was working for? Conservative outlet. She was working for Dennis Prager. She was. I don't think she was a Daily Wire yet. Okay. And so she was encouraged to say these things about, or not encouraged. Probably just they were kind of cool with it.
Yeah.
And which, by the way, she shouldn't have been saying that. Like she shouldn't have been hyper generalizing.
Yep.
Black people, like, because black people aren't a monolith, and neither are Jewish people, neither are white people.
Yeah.
Right? Like this idea that like it's okay to say racist things about this group but not this group.
Totally.
Like it's okay to say all white people are implicitly racist and whiteness is a disease. You can say that's no, you can't.
Yeah.
That to me is just as foul. Or the Jays run the world, or the black people commit more crimes and they're all violent by nature. Like all of that is deplorable and wrong. Stop hypergeneralizing everybody.
Especially, it's kind of interesting that a lot of the Jays that she's referencing aren't actually practicing Jays.
They're not. They're absolutely not.
So it's like, wait, do you think that like their bloodline causes them? It's like, or is it just like people, like godless people in positions of power?
Godless, check this out. Godless people in positions of power who actually have a godly framework of how to handle finances, of how to handle businesses, of how to handle these things. So if anything,
that's true.
The fact that they're so successful is actually a testament to the principles and the ways of God working.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That all of our self-help books, all of the John Maxwell stuff, all of our leadership stuff is actually pulling from the Bible. Guess who's been pulling from these principles the longest?
Yeah.
The group that tends to be the most successful, even though they're the smallest population per capita. 1% of the population, and they run a lot of the industries. And so, yes, when godless people get a hold of godly principles, guess what? They do godless things, but the principles are still
real. Still work. Yeah.
God's gifts are without repentance. So I think that's the issue. That's the issue. I like to see Ruslan and Candace's husband sit down and discuss Catholicism with us. I would love to sit down with her husband. I don't think he would ever sit down with me.
Yeah.
I don't think she's putting herself in a position to be challenged like that by someone who will actually, give her a run for her money. So anyway, hey, thank you so much for checking out the video. Comment down below and let me know what you think. And be sure to check out this video that YouTube is recommending just for you. Let me know if they nailed it. All right? I'll see you over there. Peace.